comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I'm DK Wrestler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, of course, it is our fandom-related podcast this week. More specifically, it is titled Plus Ultra, the My Hero Academia podcast, which this podcast, we're talking all 64 My Hero Academia Funko Pops as of this recording. Now, of course, we are recording this actually the day before Funko actually reveals WonderCon 2021 exclusives. So if there so happens to be a My Hero Academia exclusive, or if there so happens to be a brand new lineup announced before this podcast releases, those won't be included in today's podcast. Another set of pops that won't be included are those My Hero Academia Hello Kitty crossover pops, because that realistically has nothing to do with the actual show itself. There's that. We'll talk about kind of the series overall. And then to end off, like every fandom related podcast, what Funko Pops we want to see next in said lineup. So today, My Hero Academia. Anyways, MD, just started watching My Hero Academia recently. I want to get your overall thoughts of My Hero Academia, having only seen, I think you're on season 2 so far. You haven't been able to have time to watch the entire series.
Yeah, so I am still on season 2, but so far I'm really liking the show. Season 1 was really good, and like we actually discussed before I started watching it, is that like you kind of get hooked off on it right off of the first episode, which is great. I hate shows where you watch the first episode and either it drags on or it just doesn't really catch your attention, even though you've heard so many good things about the show, and sometimes that's just how pilot episodes are. But with the first episode of My Hero Academia, it was really, really good. It got me hooked on some of those characters, and I'm enjoying season 2. I haven't really had much time to watch it, and that's why I haven't finished what's out yet, but I'm definitely going to do that because this show is awesome.
Yeah, so without further ado, I'll kick off by mentioning that My Hero Academia will celebrate its 5-year anniversary on April 3rd. So April 3rd, 2016 was when My Hero Academia had aired its first episode for the animation. Of course, before that, I think it was 2014, they had started making the mangas for My Hero Academia. And then, of course, there's the animation that kicked off April 3rd, 2016. Of course, that was in Japan, and we didn't actually get an English dub for North America until May 5th, 2018, which the series currently is on 4 seasons as we are recording this. But actually, as we are recording this, this Saturday will actually be the beginning of season 5 of My Hero Academia, which is really, really cool. And when this gets released, it will be the day before the 5-year anniversary, which will be April 2nd, 2021. For this podcast, we have it divided basically into a few different sections. 2 characters have their own sections because they have a lot of Funko Pops. And then there's a section talking about like few of the secondary main characters, then some of the students. And then, of course, there's separate sections for the pros and teachers and the villains for this. So we'll kick off with the main character of My Hero Academia. And of course, that is Izuku Midoriya, which, of course, Izuku Midoriya's hero name is Deku, and his quirk is One for All, which it's kind of hard to explain what One for All is, because I feel One for All is kind of like a mix of a bunch of different quirks. But a little description of Izuku Midoriya as provided by one of the My Hero Academia wiki pages. Izuku Midoriya is the main protagonist of the series. He was born quirkless and was told by doctors that he would never be able to develop powers. However, he ended up adopting the power of One for All from his favorite hero, All Might, by ingesting a strand of All Might's hair. So we got the normal variant of Deku, along with a Hot Topic exclusive Battle Deku, a training variant of Deku, the Deku in onesie that was an EB Games / GameStop exclusive, a part of the collector's box, a Hot Topic exclusive Deku that was a part of Season 3, I believe, an Entertainment Earth exclusive glow-in-the-dark full cowling Deku, the Izuku Midoriya with his helmet on, along with an FYE exclusive metallic variant. We got Izuku Midoriya in his school outfit. And then, of course, we have another variant of Izuku Midoriya with the school outfit, but he comes with the UA High School Pop Town. Deku's an all right character. He's not one of my favorites, but at the beginning there, he was kind of like a little annoying there and constantly crying. I've never seen a character cry so much in a series like Izuku Midoriya. Later on, though, in the series, he does have some of the coolest character progression, and he just ends up becoming a little smarter with some of the actions that he does. The pops, some of them are bland, some of them are good. The normal one is not too bad. He's in like I guess a little bit of a fighting pose, which is all right. The Deku battle variant, I'm a little iffy on this pop, mainly because I feel like if he was in battle, should have there been scuffs on the Funko Pop? It just feels like he was just wearing a half mask and it could just be a brand new costume itself. But I feel like that's my only gripe with that pop. Then the training outfit, which is okay. I can tell this is like from the first season where they're doing that one drill in school where Deku ends up using his finger, using his quirk one for all so that he doesn't use his full arm because he's known for breaking his arms a lot, using his quirk because of his size. So I think it's cool that they added that detail. The Deku in the onesie, it's kind of cool that they ended up doing this. This obviously is a flashback to when Deku was a child and he would wear the onesie of All Might because, of course, that's his favorite hero and he always looked up to him. The season 3 Deku, I do like this because I like the attire and the fact that he's got like the updated knee braces, which I won't go into that because MD has not made it that far into the series yet. Then the Entertainment Earth exclusive full cowling Deku. This probably has to be the best Deku pop that Funko has made. I just love the detail of the energy going around him, and he's got the X on his head, and he's ready to basically channel one for all throughout his entire body, which is really, really cool. And the glow in the dark aspect, some people hate it, some people like it. Izuku Midoriya in his full on outfit with the mask, I'm not really a fan of this attire. I don't know why. Like, I mean, he's got that normal attire, but I'm not really a fan of the mask to begin with. I think he just looks cool without the mask. I don't think it's necessary that he has the mask. And then making a metallic variant, I feel like is a little worse. And then I'll mention both of the Izuku Midoriya in the school outfits at the same time, one with the Pop Town, one without the Pop Town. I feel like they should have done one or the other in this case because, I mean, cool, you made Izuku Midoriya in a school outfit, but then you got another one and it comes with the school. So I feel like you should have done either a single one and it didn't include with the school, or you should have kept the Izuku Midoriya with the school and then not made the normal one with the black school outfit.
Yeah, the original Deku is kind of plain. It's an all right pop, though, I guess. And I guess I'll discuss first before I get into it how I feel about Deku. Yeah, he does cry a lot from what I've seen so far, at least. But obviously, that means that later on in the show, he's obviously going to become stronger and a little less whiny, I guess you could say. Besides that, I think it's a cool premise for a main character, especially for this show, how he was born quirkless and he's kind of the one who was bullied. And then he's telling his story of how he becomes the greatest superhero of all time. So moving on to the pops, like I said with that first one, kind of plain. But then you get on to one of my favorite My Hero Academia pops, and that is the Deku battle. I do agree, if there was scuff marks on the pop, that would be really, really cool. But there's just something about the half mask that I love. I really enjoyed the episode that this was, I guess, featured in. The training outfit is really cool as well. I mean, I like the pose. It looks good. So this one's definitely better than the, I guess, normal variant of Deku. The Deku in the onesie is kind of funny. I kind of like that. It shows how much of a fanboy he really is to All Might, so that is cool. Then the one with the knee braces. I'm glad you didn't spoil it for me, but I could only assume why he has the knee braces on. But this pop looks all right. Definitely, again, better than that original one. And then the glow-in-the-dark Entertainment Earth exclusive. I love the glow-in-the-dark on this. I love how the X across the face glows and then some parts of the cracks in the armor and then the energy around him. I think this is a really great Deku pop. The full masked versions are all right. I mean, I feel like you kind of need to have them just because that is part of the show. But I'd agree with you that the metallic variant didn't need to be done. Maybe just the common should have been the metallic one, and then the exclusive one, just there would be no need for that. And then I guess I have just about the same opinion as you with the school attire ones, where either one of these school attires is good, but I don't really think we need to see both. But it's cool that we do get the Pop Town.
All right, so the next person we're going to talk about is the other main character of the series. Of course, that is All Might, which I know I'm probably going to botch this name because I've only seen the series once and I'm still trying to get used to the majority of the names, but I do feel confident that I'm going to nail most of the names head on instead of, I could only imagine how I pronounce some of these names back when I didn't watch My Hero Academia. So, which his real name is Toshinori Yagi, in which his quirk, of course, is One for All, in which All Might is another main protagonist of the series. He was also born quirkless, but ended up adopting the power of One for All from Nana Shimura. He's regarded in the series as the #1 hero in the world. All Might is seen throughout the series in two different forms. One is his regular buffed form with spiky hair, and the other is his weakened form after suffering an injury in a battle 5 years prior to when Season 1 takes place. With this weakened form, he can only be in his hero form for a certain amount of time before spitting out blood from his mouth and face potential death. We have the regular All Might, the first one that released, but there was also a couple that were in that same mold. The Funimation 2017 exclusive Glow in the Dark All Might, a Silver Chrome All Might that was a Funimation 25th anniversary exclusive. We have a Weekend All Might, a part of this set, along with a teacher variant of All Might. Then we got Silver Age All Might, which has 3 variants, one regular, one being glow in the dark that was exclusive to Hot Topic and is a part of a Pop and Tea bundle, and a metallic variant that was exclusive to Barnes and Noble. Then we got ourselves a glow in the dark box lunch exclusive Weekend All Might in his hero outfit during season 3. And then we got 2 variants of the 10-inch All Might, one being a common and the other being a glow in the dark, which was a Funimation 2020 exclusive. So talking about All Might first, I love the character of All Might. I love how he's very confident in everything he does. And I don't know if you have the same opinion of when you discuss about All Might, but I always felt that the design of the weakened form actually looks cooler than the actual buffed form. Now, I don't know if that's going to be such an unpopular opinion with anyone listening to this podcast, but that's just my opinion. I feel like he looks cooler when he is weakened form, but of course, him being weakened is not the greatest for his health, I guess. So the first All Might pop, really, really cool. I love how his hands are to the side there. I don't think he really has to do anything else besides what they already done with the Silver Age, which I'll get into discussion about. And the one thing I'm really glad is the fact that they added a mouth to this pop, because I felt this would have looked so weird if they didn't have a mouth, because that's All Might's thing. He's always constantly smiling whenever he's doing a pose. So it's great that they did this. And I feel like there's a couple more characters, which I will get into discussion about later on, that should also have a mouth on their Funko Pop because of their facial expressions they do in the series. The glow in the dark variant, I've seen some photos. It's all right. I know it's actually a pretty expensive pop. And then the silver chrome variant, I feel like is pointless. I mean, maybe they're doing a take on Silver Age, so they're like, all right, let's make a chrome pop and it'll be silver chrome. The only thing this pop has that's great is the great box that comes with it. It has like the best overall box design out of all the My Hero Academia Funko Pops. Then we got the regular Weekend All Might. This is really, really cool. Once again, the facial expression with the mouth. And I love how they have the blue eyes for this with like the black going around in the background there of his eyes. I think it looks really, really cool. And even the design of his hair, really, really awesome. And I kind of like the pose he's in where he's like kind of showing that he's weakened, where like his one arm's kind of like shrugged up and then the other is kind of like dead there because of course he's weak. Then we got Teacher All Might, which I kind of figured they would end up doing a pop like this. I mean, I'm sure it was super easy to make some sort of teacher pose and then just taking the regular All Might mold of the head. Silver Age All Might is pretty cool. I love the pose that he's doing and the way that the cape is flowing there. And of course, that smile there. And it's on a stand, which totally makes sense because I feel like if they didn't have that stand, then it would just tip forward because of how it's on his tippy toes, essentially. The glow in the dark variant is okay. I've seen pictures of it glow in the dark and it's all right. I think what saves this though is the fact that it's a Pop and Tea bundle. I really love that plus Ultra shirt. Then the metallic variant is meh. Once again, it's kind of that same situation of like the Izuku Midoriya with his mask. It's like, did we really need the metallic variant? The glow in the dark Weekend All Might in my opinion, hands down, the best All Might pop that Funko has made thus far. And I don't know if possibly there will ever be an All Might pop that's better than this, in my opinion. The way that the facial expression is, you got kind of like scuffs on his face, and he's wearing his outfit, and he's after his battle in season 3, which, of course, anyone who's watched the show, you know who he battles against. I just think they did a great job where you still have part of his arm buffed up, but then you have that weakened arm there. The glow in the dark is pretty cool, but it's one of those pops that didn't need to be glow in the dark, but they did it anyways. So either way, glow in the dark, not glow in the dark, it's still cool. And I'm definitely going to somehow get this pop. Then we got the 10-inch variants of All Might, which I guess they're okay for the sense that they actually have a different pose compared to the other All Might Funko Pops. I feel like it wasn't necessary to make the glow in the dark variant, in my opinion. I just feel like that's one of those Funko cash grabs there again.
So to start out with my opinion of All Might, I also really enjoy All Might. The one thing that I thought he was going to be super arrogant when I first started watching the show, and I haven't really seen that. I don't know if that changes later on in the show, but so far from what I've seen, he seems like a pretty cool guy for the most part, and he knows basically what's good for the whole planet, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's the right word I'm trying to look for, but he is really, really great. And then if we go to the weakened form, I love the idea of the weakened form, how he's this amazing, like, looks like impossible to beat character, but he also has a weak side, obviously. I do like the character design of it. Not as much as his normal design, but I think it's really, really cool. He looks a little more scary, I guess you could say, but I guess that's the point. He's supposed to kind of look ugly and like a shrimp, kind of weak. He doesn't want people who don't know about that to see him that way. So I just think it's really, really cool. So to start off with the first pop, this is a great pop. I think the pose is great. The face looks good. It even looks like there's almost shading with this pop just because of the way the muscles are kind of formed and how the mouth looks, which is super, super cool. The glow in the dark version, that's okay. I mean, sure, let's have a glow in the dark pop. Then the silver chrome one, yeah, I hate chrome pops, so this is not my favorite. Plus, it also is like one of the worst looking chrome pops, I think, in my opinion. I do like how you get the 25th anniversary of Funimation sticker, and that box obviously is straight fire. The weakened All Might, this is really, really cool. Like you said, he does look weak because of his pose. The face looks really, really great. I mean, a lot of these All Might pops are super good. The Teacher All Might, this is cool. Makes sense to make it. It's not one of my favorite All Might pops, but it's cool to see this version rather than, let's say, a bunch of different glow-in-the-dark versions for other versions of All Might. Then the Silver Age All Might, I really like the pose on this one. Yeah, he comes with the base, which is super needed. I also really love the glow-in-the-dark version, I guess just because it's glow-in-the-dark. And it is a Pop and Tea bundle, obviously. That t-shirt is super clean, which is awesome. And the box is decent. The metallic version is all right. I don't think it's needed, but it kind of looks cool. Then the box lunched weekend All Might. This one is awesome. I can't wait to watch this scene because this pop looks super, super cool. Lots of detail, like you said, with the scuffs. You have the blue eyes. The face looks really menacing. And then the pose is really great, how he still has that strength in one arm. The 10-inch versions, they're kind of meh. I don't really have a ton of opinions on lots of 10-inch pops to begin with, just because normally it's like you either like 10-inch pops or you don't. But at least for this one, it is a different pose than, let's say, that first common All Might. So that's cool. The glow-in-the-dark version is kind of
All right, so this next section we're going to talk about, it's titled 4 Important Students. I couldn't think of a cooler title, but mainly what I'm talking about is kind of the secondary main characters for essentially the students. Starting off first, Kasuke Bakugo, which his hero name is the Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. His quirk is Explosion, which is the ability to produce nitroglycerin-like sweat from his palms and create explosions that are various sizes. Bakugo is a fellow Class 1A student at UA High. He's a rude, short-tempered kid. He grew up always being a bully to Izuku Midoriya. He's always overconfident and wants to one day surpass All Might as the #1 hero, which Bakugo has 2 variants. He's got a regular variant that's just called Kasuke with him without his mask, and then an updated version that was a San Diego Comic-Con 2020 shared with Hot Topic exclusive, where he's wearing his mask and he's basically in mid-battle. Then the next student we'll talk about is Ochaco. in which her hero name is Uravity and her quirk is Zero Gravity, which is the ability to remove the effects of gravity from solid things upon touching them with the pads on her fingertips. Ochaco is a fellow student at UA High, Class 1A student, super positive, bubbly, and sometimes an airhead, and she also has a major crush on Izuku Midoriya throughout the series, in which Ochaco actually has 4 variants. The original ones, you got a normal variant, and then you have a masked variant that was a San Diego Comic-Con 2017 exclusive. And then we have a newly released, updated Ochaco that was a Funimation 2020 exclusive, which there is a common that is masked and then a chase that is unmasked. Then we go on to Todoroki, which his hero name is Shoto, which is his first name. His quirk is half cold, half hot, which is the ability to shoot ice with his right side of his body and flames with the left side of his body. Todoroki is a fellow Class 1A student at UA High. He is the son of popular pro hero Endeavor. He was born with both of his parents' quirks, which his ice powers were developed from his mother and his flame powers were developed from his father, which Todoroki has 3 variants so far in the My Hero Academia lineup. He has a common variant, and then with that same mold, they had released a what's called convention exclusive. They never really described what convention it was, glow-in-the-dark variant of Todoroki, and then recently released, I think it was last year, is a box warehouse exclusive metallic variant of Todoroki. And then the last student that we'll discuss about in this portion, because I feel like he's actually mentioned a lot, is Tenya Ida, which his hero name is Ingenium, and his quirk is Engine, which is the ability to run at a fast speed. Tenya Ida is a Class 1A student at UA High. He's an intelligent student, but tends to take things very seriously, which we have a regular version of Tenya where he is unmasked, but he's wearing his hero outfit. And then we have his masked variant, which was an EB Games / GameStop exclusive and is a part of a Pop and Tea bundle. I can easily say Bakugo is a in this series. His Funko Pops, the original one is okay, especially for a pop that was made in 2017, I believe, when the first wave of My Hero Academia pops came out. The design is pretty cool with his hair at the time, and then he's got his whole outfit on, which is really, really cool. But I definitely have to say that the SDCC version that came out last year is so much better than this original version. You got more of an updated look for his hair, where it's more like spiky. You have him in like a battle pose, and you have basically explosions coming out of his hands and like smoke as a base with explosions, which is really, really cool. And they made a facial expression with his eyes, which Bakugo is one of those characters that I truly believe needs to have a mouth on his Funko Pops going forward, because he makes some of the best facial expressions throughout the series, especially when he is ticked off at Deku. Then we got Ochaco. The original ones are pretty cool. My only gripe, though, is I feel like they should have made this, instead of her standing like that with her hands positioned the way they are, they should have done it where it was like crisscross applesauce and she's floating in midair doing that, where she's kind of using her quirk in the process. And I think both of them are okay. I know the San Diego Comic-Con one is really expensive. And then the newer versions of Ochaco are pretty cool, because you got that cool base where it's kind of like a rock-like base, and looks like some of the rocks are in midair. Possibly she's using her quirk at this time, which it's really, really cool. I feel like, in my opinion, though, when looking at the original ones, I'd rather have unmasked common over the exclusive masked version. And then with the newer ones, I'd rather have the masked common than the unmasked chase. Then we got Todoroki. I honestly can't say enough. Todoroki is my absolute favorite hero in this series. I love the backstory and I love the idea. And it's a rare occurrence also, like they mentioned on the show, where not only can you develop one quirk, but you could possibly develop both of your parents' quirks, which ends up happening with Shoto Todoroki. I'm going to get a Todoroki pop. It's just a matter of which one I'm going to get, because all 3 of them have a uniqueness to it that makes me want to get them. So with the common one, is just the flames probably look cool because it's more translucent, and then the ice is looking cool also. But then with the glow in the dark version, one, you get a new sticker with a convention sticker, but it's like not the greatest sticker though. But the fact that it glows in the dark is really, really cool, especially because I feel like the fire side is going to look cool, but I don't know how the ice side is going to look. But then this box warehouse exclusive metallic variant, I don't really like the pop per se. The only thing I like about the metallic form is that it brings out the colors of his hair and the fact that it's got a sticker to it. Then we got Tenya Ida. It's actually weird that this Tenya Ida, I'm pretty sure, is the most expensive common Funko Pop in the entire My Hero Academia lineup. I feel like with this version of Tenya Ida, it should have been him in a school outfit, and then you would have saved the Pop and Tea bundle version for later on. Obviously, they did that, but with that full attire, and then with this one, not have the attire on, but it's still cool. The Pop and Tea bundle version is cool because I do like him in his whole mask attire. I kind of like the t-shirt, mainly because it's blue. And normally with a lot of Funko t-shirts, you see them in either black or they're gray. And then the box is meh, in my opinion. It's just the front of his outfit, and that's about it.
Starting off with Bakugo, yeah, he definitely is a He's obviously the bully of Deku, giving Deku that nickname. The first pop, this one's all right. I mean, there's not really much of a pose to it. The hair is kind of a little bit weird in my opinion. I don't know if it's the exact color or something about it just doesn't scream Bakugo to me. But then the San Diego Comic-Con one, that one looks really, really sick. There's so much detail going on. There's a lot more expression. There's more of a pose. And obviously you have a really cool base with that one. So if you're going to get one pop of Bakugo, I feel like that's definitely the way to go. With Ochaco, yeah, I completely agree with everything you said about it. Exactly how you explained it. These pops are pretty cool. I do think it would be a cool idea with those more common ones. If she was floating, that would be nice. But then the ones with the rock base, those are pretty cool as well. I mean, that's a really nice base, and the pose is really awesome as well. Todoroki, yes, I love the backstory for Todoroki. I love how a hero is somehow able to get both quirks from their parents. And obviously, in this fashion, it just makes so much sense and is really cool to be half ice and half fire. Just so cool. He is a really cool character. The pops look really, really nice as well. I really do think I would like the glow in the dark one. I mean, I do like glow in the dark pops, but because of the fire, I think the glow in the dark would look really, really cool. And then on the ice side, I would hope it would look just as cool because that would make this pop super awesome. And I'll probably have to get this one if it looks that good. The chrome one, yeah, like you said, it brings out the hair, but besides that, I don't know. I guess it makes the ice and the fire kind of pop a little more as well, but I kind of think it's the worst one out of the trio. And then Tenya. I also kind of like Tenya's backstory because the rest of his family are heroes. I believe at one point he gets called out for like being rich or something like that, which I thought was pretty funny. He's a cool character. I kind of like him. One thing that I kind of have an idea about, playing off of what you kind of said, is with that common, yeah, we should have maybe seen like a school outfit. And then with the Pop and Tea bundle, something that we've never seen before, I don't believe, and that would be having a chase variant where the chase would possibly be that unmasked version, still making it an expensive pop. But you may say, oh, who's going to buy multiple of these boxes to try and get a chase? And my idea for that would be just to put the chase sticker right on the front of the box, so you don't have to buy it and open it to know if you're getting the chase or not. You would know right when you see it in the store. And the t-shirt would show an unmasked version of him as well if you get the chase. I think that would be super, super cool. Obviously, we didn't see that, but that's just an idea for something in the future we may be able to see. But I like the masked variant as well. I kind of like the unmasked a little bit better, though, because you kind of get to see what he looks like. And I think that's kind of important for these types of characters.
All right, so we can move on now to the next section of Pops, which is titled The Other Students, which is kind of more of the minor characters, but they do get featured in the series. Most people do like some of these characters. So kicking off with this is Suyu, which her hero name is Froppy, and her quirk is Frog, which is the ability to, of course, have frog-like abilities. Suyu is a fellow Class 1A student at UA High. She's straightforward and aloof, prefers to be called Sue by her friends. Then we got Momo Yayorozu, which I am surprised I did not butcher that because I was so confident I was butchering that name. Her hero name is Creati, which her quirk is Creation, which is the ability to materialize weapons and tools using any part of her body. Momo, once again, fellow Class 1A student at UA High. She's a dedicated person and a natural-born leader. Then we got Ejiro Kirishima, which his hero name is Red Riot, and his quirk is hardening, which is the ability to harden any part of his body to being almost rock-like. There's two variants actually of Kirishima, which there is a regular version, and then there is a box lunch exclusive metallic variant of Kirishima. Then we got ourselves Tokoyami. I know he's got a first name there, but I have not quite pronounced it correctly, nor do I want to attempt it. So I'm just going to keep it as Tokoyami. Hero name is Tsukuyomi, which his quirk is Dark Shadow, which is the ability to summon a shadowy monster-like form within his body that he can materialize and dematerialize at will. Fellow Class 1A student, he likes to keep to himself and doesn't talk that much, in which he has a common variant, and then he also has a metallic variant that's a part of an EB Games/GameStop Pop and Tea bundle. Then we got ourselves Mirio Togata, which is a Chalice Collectibles exclusive. His hero name is Lemillion, in which his quirk is Permission, which is the ability to phase his body through physical matter. Mirio Togata is a Class 3B student at UA High. He's a part of the Big Three, and Mirio was originally the top candidate for becoming All Might's successor to inherit One for All before All Might had met Izuku Midoriya. Then we got Mei Hatsume. Her quirk is Zoom, which is the ability for her eyes to zoom far away and allowing her to clearly see distant people and objects. Mei Hatsume is a student of UA High's Department of Support from Class 1H. In the series, she is known for creating certain objects, weapons, and costumes for the students at UA. This includes Deku's arms and leg braces that he later uses in the series. Then we have Hitoshi Shinzo, which is an EB Games/GameStop exclusive, in which his quirk is Brainwashing, which is the ability to put his target in a state where they are forced to obey all of his commands, and he is a student of UA High's General Department from Class 1C. Then we have Mina Ashido, which her hero name is Pinky. Her quirk is Acid, which is the ability to create a corrosive liquid from her skin. Fellow Class 1A student, she's cheerful and outgoing, which she has a common variant and a metallic variant that is an EB Games/GameStop exclusive. And then last but not least for this section is actually the newest Funko Pop as of this recording, which is the Emerald City Comic Con 2021 shared with Funko Shop exclusive Najiri Hado, which her hero name is Najiri Chan, which her quirk is Wave Motion, which is the ability to convert her vitality in energy and discharge them as blast waves, in which Najiri is a Class 3A student at UA High and is a part of the Big Three. So kicking off with Tsuyu, this pop is really, really cool. I love that they executed basically her tongue sticking out to make her frog-like, and she's in a pose like she is a frog. Really, really cool. I do enjoy the character of Tsuyu throughout the series. Momo Yayorozu. She's an okay character. You don't really get to see her much. Kirishima, you don't really get to know him much throughout, I would say, the first few seasons, but season 4, he is great in season 4. The common's cool, and I do think that the metallic one does make sense because of his rock-like ability, although I do like the common and the way the hair looks compared to what the hair looks like for the metallic variant though. Tokoyami, one of the most underrated characters. A lot of people like to rank Tokoyami low on like their list if they do like a tier maker list of My Hero Academia characters, but man, I love Tokoyami. He's definitely up there. I kind of like Tokoyami actually better than Deku, honestly, and that's saying something. So Tokoyami, I love the fact that like when you first see him, especially if you're new to the series and you look at his Funko Pop, you're like, okay, that's a cool like raven mask in his outfit, but that's his actual head, is that raven head, and he's got a human body. And then the fact they added the dark shadow with his Funko Pop, I think is really, really cool. It's a cool touch they did with this Funko Pop, and I'm really torn on whether I want to get the common or the metallic variant because I like the common. The common looks nice, and then with the metallic pop, I feel like with the beak there, it just looks weird. But I really want the metallic version for the sake of the Pop and Tea bundle because I think the shirt looks awesome, and I think the box looks cool too, where you got Tokoyami in the front and you have the dark shadow on the side of the box. I think they did a great job with that, and I think it's cool. Mirio Togado, he's a pretty popular character, but I don't know, I never really was like too big of a fan of him. He's pretty cool in season 4 on what he does, and it would be cool to see him in his outfit in season 4 as a Funko pop, but for right now, this school outfit is okay, and I'm sure there are people that did get this. Mei Hatsume. You don't really get to see much of Mei Hatsume, but it's cool they ended up making a pop of her. Hitoshi Shinzo. I felt like Hitoshi Shinzo should have been a Comic-Con exclusive, possibly a limited piece count, because there are a lot of people out there that aren't the biggest fan of Hitoshi Shinzo. And not only that, you don't get to see Hitoshi Shinzo much. I think you only get to see him, I would like to say 1 or 2 episodes, and that's during that scene or the tournament that they're at. I almost wanted to call it the Battle City tournament, but that's Yu-Gi-Oh! The only thing I do like is his quirk, which is the brainwashing quirk. That's basically about it. Mina Ishido. Both these pops are pretty cool. I like the way the hair turns out when you have the metallic variant, but the common, I do like the way that the acid turns out, because I feel like when you have the metallic variant of her acid, it kind of looks like motor oil, in my opinion, rather than acid. Then Najiri Hato, I don't really know much about her because, once again, she doesn't make much of an appearance either. I think she shows up at the end of season 3, and then you kind of see her throughout season 4. But of course, like we discussed like weeks ago when Emerald City Comic Con pops were announced, that this thing has a lot of detail, and I love the energy that is going around her fist.
Okay, starting off with Suyu. I love this character. Definitely one of my favorite characters in the show. I don't know why, but one thing I like to think about is like when the writers were coming together thinking about ideas for quirks, like who is the guy who's just like, frog, it's going to be a frog. I love the idea. Such a cool quirk, I guess. And the character design is really, really awesome. This pop looks amazing. The face looks great. The body pose looks great. There's good detail. This is definitely one of the pops that I want to get for My Hero Academia pop collection. With Momo, yeah, I don't really remember much of her if I've met her yet, but she definitely got some titties. The pop looks good. It kind of looks like a Street Fighter character, in my opinion. I don't know if it's something to do with the hair or with the red and yellow kind of attire. It doesn't really scream My Hero Academia to me, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. Hiroshima, I really like this character as well. I like his quirk a lot. I really think the metallic variant is better for this one, which is surprising because normally I'm not a huge fan of metallic, but I think the hair looks great with it. And overall, I think it kind of pops a little bit more. And then moving on to Tokoyami. Yeah, I agree. This is an underrated character. I really like the quirk. It's just so much different than all of the other quirks. And yeah, I remember when we discussed this pop, I remember looking at this and thinking like, oh, that's kind of a neat disguise. And then watching the show, it's like, oh crap, yeah, that's not even a disguise. That's actually what he looks like. So super cool character. And the pops look good. I mean, there's not a whole lot, I guess, you could do with this character from at least what I've seen. But what they did do with these pops is really, really nice. And then Mirio Togata, I don't think I've met this character because I believe you said he doesn't come up till season 3. But I also remember discussing this pop last year, I believe it was. And I think one of us said how he kind of looks like the human form of SpongeBob, which is kind of funny. I'm interested to meet this character though and see what he's all about. And then Mei Hatsume. This is a really nice pop. I mean, there's a lot of detail going on with this. The quirk is all right. I mean, being able to see things from a far distance, I guess, would be more of a like a sidekick or like a helper kind of quirk to help someone else who's a bit stronger. But I mean, that's the role she plays anyways, so it makes sense. And the pop looks great. I love the kind of steampunk aspects to her. But overall, this is a really, really great pop. And then Hitachi Shinso. This is a very plain pop, like you kind of discussed. I mean, I like the pose kind of. I mean, it's not great though. I like how there's one hand in the pocket and the other one holding the neck. But overall, this feels like possibly one of the worst My Hero Academia pops that isn't a variant of another character. Then Mina, yeah, I agree with what you said. I love the chrome one because of how the hair looks. But then her quirk with the acid, it kind of just looks like you said motor oil. I think it kind of gives her vibes of like Silver Surfer, which obviously is not what she is. But I like this character. This quirk is pretty cool. Someone who's able to kind of shoot acid, I mean, can definitely be pretty powerful because that's kind of a scary thing. And then Najiri Hato, yeah, I haven't met this character either, but this pop looks really, really cool. And I like what I'm hearing of the quirk because blast waves would definitely be something I would not be too mad if I was born with. That's for sure.
All right, so now moving on, our next section will be the pros slash teachers, which of course this won't include All Might because we already had an All Might section. But first person we'll discuss is Shota Aizawa, which his hero name is Eraserhead, which his quirk is Erasure, which is the ability to disable a person's quirk for as long as he concentrates on that person. Which, of course, Aizawa is a pro hero and the homeroom teacher for UA High's Class 1A. He has a common variant that first came out, and then later on, he had a Hot Topic exclusive variant that's him in his hero costume. Then we got ourselves Endeavor, which, of course, his real name is Enji Todoroki. His quirk is Hellflame, which is the ability to shoot out fire blasts that would incinerate a person. Endeavor is a pro hero and is the father of Shoto Todoroki. Throughout the majority of the series, Endeavor is regarded as the number 2 best hero behind All Might, which the first Endeavor pop that came out was an EB Games/GameStop exclusive that was a part of the collector's box along with that onesie Deku. And then we have, as part of one of the newer waves that just released, is a common Endeavor, along with a glow-in-the-dark Amazon exclusive of that same mold of the common Endeavor. Then we got ourselves the 6-inch Mount Lady, which is a Hot Topic exclusive. Her real name is Yu Takeyama, in which her quirk is Gigantification, which is the ability to increase their size up to gigantic levels. Then we got ourselves Midnight, which was a Galactic Toys exclusive, which her real name is Nemuri Kayami, in which her quirk is Somnambulus, which I probably botched that, the ability to put people to sleep using a sleeping gas that comes out of her skin, in which Midnight is a pro hero and a faculty member of UA High who taught modern hero art history. Then we got Best Genus, which real name is Sonaga Hakamada. His quirk is Fiber Master, which is the ability to have a power on a target's threads in their clothing. Best Genus is a hero and is regarded as the number 3 best hero. And then the last character for the pros and teachers is Present Mike, which his real name is Hizashi Yamada, which is Korka's voice, which is the ability to increase the volume of his voice even to a high-pitched sound. Present Mike is a pro hero and the English teacher at UA High. So, Mr. Aizawa, really cool character. I love when you first meet him and he's in this like cocoon blanket because he just doesn't want to be around anyone. And I think it's really, really cool. And the pops that they executed here is really, really cool also, especially with the facial expression, because Aizawa is not always like the most thrilled person. So it's really cool that they have the eyes partially shutting. And then also, I do like the hero attire version where his hair is kind of flowing in the wind and he's wearing the glasses that he wears to kind of execute that quirk. My only gripe though, and it's like the littlest gripe, is that they should have kept the common as Shota Aizawa and called the Hot Topic exclusive as Eraserhead instead of saying Aizawa hero costume. I think that would have been a little better in my opinion, but that's about it. Then we got Endeavor, which I'm not really the biggest fan of Endeavor. Hearing that backstory about Todoroki, you just really want to hate Endeavor. The original GameStop exclusive is okay. I mean, he's just standing there with his arms crossed. He's not really doing much. But then when you look at the newer variants of Endeavor, where he's got an updated bright color look to it, it's not so translucent. And then he's got like a fistful of flames. And then they even have a fire base to it, I think looks way better than that EB Games GameStop exclusive one from the collector's box. And they did a really great job with this. And although the photo we're looking at right now for the glow in the dark version is more of a concept art, I can tell you that I've seen photos of this pop glow in the dark because people have recently been getting this pop actually, and the glow looks excellent. Then we got Mount Lady, which I really like the idea they made this a 6-inch because watching the first episode and you see Mount Lady in that episode, she does have that gigantification quirk where she grows in size. So it's cooler that they made her slightly bigger than the other characters because of that quirk. And then we got Midnight, which... God damn it, pal. I don't think I've never been more attracted to an animated character than Midnight in my life. Her pop is pretty cool, and I might get this pop because of being a fan of Midnight, and so I have an excuse to get a Galactic Toys exclusive sticker into my collection. Best Genus. I feel like there was more different variants of certain characters or even different characters in general that should have happened before Best Genus. The quirk of controlling someone's threads is weird. Like, I haven't really thought much of like what he can do with the threads. Like, could he add a temperature to it so it makes your clothing uncomfortable or make it itchy? I never really thought about it all that much. And then Present Mike. Present Mike is so awesome. I love Present Mike. I love his energy in the show, and especially when he uses that voice quirk is just insane. He's always on his little DJ booth there, and it's really, really cool. Love the overall design. It was actually in a recent podcast, actually, I think this year, that we discussed about this Funko Pop, or it might have been late last year, where we discussed about how cool it was that they made the eyes the way they are with the glasses. It's something we've never really seen before in a Funko Pop, and I'm glad they did it that way. I love the headphones on there and even the spiked up hair. I think they did a really cool job.
Okay, starting off with the first one with Chada Izawa. Yeah, I really like this character. I like how he's kind of always just like smug, I guess would be a word to describe him. And yeah, he doesn't really like being around people, I guess you could say as well. I like his quirk because obviously if you can disable someone else's quirk, that could give your team a huge advantage. These pops are nice. I like the head sculpt of both of them because they're so different. Obviously, the bodies are the same, but that's fine because you do get a lot of difference with these head sculpts. And yeah, I agree that the name should have been changed on the Hot Topic one because those super long names where they're kind of describing what's going on with the character just doesn't make sense when you could sum it up a lot easier by saying something else. So yeah, I guess that kind of would be a gripe. I don't really know which one I like more. I think I kind of like the common a bit more. Endeavor, yeah, you gotta hate him. I mean, he's an asshole. But these pops are really nice. I mean, the fire on them is crazy. Some of the craziest we've seen from any pop that has fire on it. The glow in the dark one would definitely look amazing because I feel like it would just be so bright, and that's how it should be. Mount Lady's a really cool character. I liked how she kind of came in and saved the day in season 1. It's really cool that they made this a 6-inch pop. I'm super glad they did that. Midnight, she's a cool character. I mean, yeah, she's a good looking lady. I think this pop is pretty cool. The pose is all right. It's kind of plain, but I don't think there's a ton you could really do with her. So I think this is as good as we're going to get. Best Genus, yeah, I don't know this character. What did you say the quirk was?
The quirk was Fiber Master, which is the ability to have power on a target's threads in their clothing.
Okay, that's interesting. That could definitely be powerful, but potentially not one of the best quirks. But the character design is pretty cool. I mean, the name and the character just go hand in hand. And then Present Mike, yeah, he's got a cool quirk. I mean, his quirk is definitely very powerful because you could use it for multiple things, I suppose. Like you said when we discussed the glasses on this pop, it looks really, really great. This is a great looking pop overall. The pose is pretty good, but I think that head on its own is just super, super cool.
All right, so we're going to be on our last section of Funko Pops before we move on to a section of what Funko Pops we want to see next, and that is the villains. The first one that we'll discuss is Tomura Shigaraki, which his real name is Tenko Shimura, which his quirk is Decay, which is the ability to destroy anything with the touch of his hand, in which Tomura Shigaraki is one of the main antagonists of the series and is the leader of the League of Villains, which Shigaraki has 2 variants of himself. One being the first one is a Galactic Toys exclusive, which is him with his hand sticking out, and the other is just a common variant, part of one of the newer waves, that's just him walking. Then we got ourselves All for One, which his name is Shigaraki, and his quirk is All for One, which is the ability to steal other quirks and make a person quirkless. All for One is the founder of the League of Villains, and he is the arch enemy of All Might and was the one to cause All Might to become weakened. All for One has 3 variants of himself. We have a common variant of him with just his normal human body and his hands are just shrugged out. We have a Big Apple Collectibles variant of him with his battle hand, and then a Fugitive Toys exclusive of him being fully charged in season 3. Then we got ourselves Himiko Toga, which her quirk is Transform, which is the ability to shapeshift into a different person as long as that person's blood was consumed beforehand. And Himiko Toga is associated with the League of Villains as a member of the Vanguard Action Squad. Himiko Toga has 2 variants, the first one being a AAA anime exclusive variant, and then we have ourselves a common variant, which is her with her mask. Then we got ourselves Hero Killer Stain, which is a New York Comic Con 2019 shared with EB Games / GameStop exclusive. His quirk is Blood Curdle, which is the ability to temporarily paralyze a person by ingesting a sample of their blood. Hero Killer Stain is an antagonist that isn't associated with the League of Villains in any way. His motives are to cleanse the world of false heroes. He believes that people who only become a hero for fame and money are not worthy of the title, and believes All Might is the only true hero. Then we got ourselves Dabi, which I can't mention his real name because it's actually a spoiler for the manga. So if you're one of those people who watch the anime only and aren't planning on reading the mangas, then I wouldn't search up what his real name is. Which his quirk is Cremation, which is the ability to shoot out fire blasts that would incinerate a person. Dabi is also associated with the League of Villains as a member of the Vanguard Action Squad. Then we got ourselves Overhaul, which his real name is Kai Shiksaki. His quirk is Overall, which is the ability to assemble and disassemble matter with his bare hands. Then we got Kurojiri, which his quirk is Warp Gate, which is the ability to create and manipulate a dark fog that can act as a portal. Kurojiri is a main antagonist throughout the majority of the series and is the second in command to Tomoro Shigaraki in the League of Villains. And then the last villain and the last Funko Pop we're going to discuss about in this podcast is Mr. Compress, which was a New York Comic Con 2020 shared with Hot Topic exclusive, in which his real name is Hashiro Sako, and his quirk is Compress, which is the ability to shrink anything inside a spherical area into a small marble without damaging it. Mr. Compress is also associated with the League of Villains as a member of the Vanguard Action Squad. All right, so kicking off with Tomura Shigaraki, which I kind of find Tomura Shigaraki to kind of be very overrated, in my opinion. There's something about him that just doesn't make him as cool as people seem, but he does have a very strong quirk. Like, being able to touch something and just destroy it and disintegrate it like that is just insane, which I like the Galactic Toys variant better than the common, only because it actually shows like he's in mid doing the quirk, where his hand is sticking out because it's showing that he's about to use his DK quirk, while the other one is just him walking around. So I kind of feel like if you already have the Galactic Toys exclusive, don't get the common unless, of course, you're trying to get the whole set. The All For One pops. All For One is okay. He's basically built up to be like this number one villain of the entire series, but he ends up not lasting that long. I know it's a little bit of a spoiler there, but I do like the exclusive pops way better than the common. Himiko Toga. Both of these pops are pretty cool. I do like the common version actually better than the exclusive variant, although she has that blush and she's trying to show her innocent side, even though she is just a complete crazy bitch in the series. The mask one is really cool because it shows more of her quirk, where in one hand she's got the knife and then the other hand she has the syringe so that she can use the knife, take the blood sample with the syringe, and then now she has the sample and she's able to use it to transform into a different character. Hero Killer Stain, by far, in my opinion, the absolute best pop in the My Hero Academia lineup, and it is such a shame that Hero Killer Stain only lasts 2 to 3 episodes. And I love the idea of his quirk where he's able to just take a lick of your blood, and also depending on, and this is an added thing to his quirk, is depending on what type of blood it is how long you're temporarily paralyzed. But yeah, definitely the best pop because it's got that sweet facial expression, it's got a mouth, the tongue sticking out, and they even utilize the bandana as a base where it's flowing at the bottom there. And I think that's really, really cool. Then we got Dabi. I like his quirk of Cremation, where it's basically kind of like Endeavor's Hellfire, except it's blue flames. And I love his overall design. Then we got Overhaul. This is another character I feel is really overrated. A lot of people are fans of Overhaul and were happy we ended up getting an Overhaul pop. But I don't know. I was just not a fan of this. This actually, I'm pretty sure, is the newer villain of the series because this villain does appear in season 4. Kurojiri. I do like this pop in the way they executed the painting application of this, where you got that purple color and it's slowly turning lighter and becoming more translucent. I think they did a really great job of that. My only gripe is that they should have made the head sculpt a bit different because you do see him with that like big collar. I think in some of the videos this week, I kept calling it a neck brace, but that big collar that he's got, and they should have made that more. Like, you do see it in the Funko Pop a bit, but they should have made it a bit higher and made the head sculpt different to look like the actual head of Kirogiri. And Mr. Compress, people were excited when this pop came out, but I kind of was let down of how this character ended up turning out when I first watched My Hero Academia, because like we mentioned on the podcast when this got announced, this gave me like Rorschach vibes because of the look of it. But I don't know, I feel like his quirk wasn't all that good.
Okay, starting off with Tomara Shigaraki. This is definitely one of the Funko Pops that made me very interested to watch My Hero Academia. A lot of the times I remember discussing on the podcast in previous episodes where we'd see different characters from My Hero Academia and I'd be like, wow, I need to check this out because these are all so different. How are these all from the same show? And now knowing about all the quirks and stuff, it makes a lot more sense. I love the design of this character. The hands is such a weird thing. Both of these pops are really, really good, but I do think the Galactic Toys one is better just because you get more of a pose, even though with the common, him walking is kind of cool because you can tell he's walking and then you get sort of a cape, which is nice. Then All For One. This is a weird character. I haven't met the character yet, so just from looking at the design of the pop, it's a weird mask that he wears, and then obviously when you see him kind of unmasked, it's just crazy, pretty creepy stuff. So I'm interested to see this character for however long I get to see him, because all three of these pops are pretty different, so obviously he's definitely got some things to offer in the show. Himiko Toga. This is a very, very weird quirk. Like you said, she definitely seems like she'd be a crazy bitch. Both these pops are very, very cool and very different, which is nice. I mean, the expression on the face is different for each one. One's masked, the pose is totally different. I would have to meet this character in the show and then decide which pop I would want to get more if I was trying to get, let's say, one pop of each character from the My Hero Academia lineup. Hero Killer Stain. This is another one of those pops where we've seen this pop and it was like, wow, what is this show about? Because this is a pretty cool design and obviously this pop is one of the best. And then we have Dobby. Now, obviously, I haven't met this character either. This pop is really cool, though. I like the blue flames. I always like blue flames on pops. I think it really looks good. The pose is really nice. And the head sculpt overall is pretty neat as well. I mean, very interesting how the eyes and kind of the lower face are like that. And then Overhaul, another character I have yet to meet, but it doesn't really scream this is a villain to me, so I guess I'll have to wait and see what this guy's all about. But the pop is all right, I suppose. Kiroguri, really, really cool character. I love the design of this character, and the pop looks really, really great as well. Like you mentioned, how you have those dark purples that end up fading into just the clear, which is super, super nice. I definitely want to get this pop. And then we have Rorschach. I mean, Mr. Compress, obviously, yes, this does look a lot like Rorschach. This is another character that I don't know, but this is very interesting design for a character. I feel like this guy would be a total badass.
All right, so right now we will discuss what pops we want to see next in the My Hero Academia lineup, although I'm pretty sure, MD, you mentioned before we recorded that you were opting out of that because you couldn't think of anything.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess what I said about Tenya earlier will be my contribution to that.
Okay. For my list that I actually have listed down, first off, a teacher weakened All Might. You do see him in his weakened form, in his teacher outfit. And of course, all they have to do is take the mold from the All Might teacher variant, take the mold from the original weakened All Might pop, and just slap it together. I think it'd be easy, and I'd probably buy it. Then I had written down Tokoyami with the school uniform. I mean, we have Tokoyami with his hero outfit. I think, in my opinion, he looks cooler in his school outfit because of that aspect of, like, he's got a human body, but he has this Raven-esque head. Next character I have is Mineta. I think Mineta would be an excellent pop, and I don't know why they haven't made Mineta yet. Then I had written down Gran Torino. Gran Torino was such a cool character. Obviously, he was the one that he's like All Might's teacher. And then he's teaching Deku how to use One for All properly. And I think it'd be really cool whether they just have him standing still or he's like in mid pose with the stand. I think it'd be really cool for a Gran Torino pop. And then the last pop I have, and that is a Todoroki versus Hero Killer Stain pop anime moments. I think this would be great. You're mixing Todoroki, my favorite hero, against Hero Killer Stain, my favorite villain, together. And that way I won't have to buy the Todoroki pops, and that I don't have to fork up so much money for how expensive the Hero Killer Stain is currently for that Comic-Con exclusive. And I feel like adding a base and whatever is added to it, especially I would like for this Hero Killer Stain to have like some blood coming on the swords this time, and possibly maybe he's like mid-licking the sword. But anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's podcast, make sure you smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and let us know what your favorite My Hero Academia Funko Pops were. Press that subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell to be notified of when that future content gets released. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at a Funko Popcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this special fandom-related podcast about My Hero Academia, and we hope to see you guys next week for a special edition of a Funko Popcast on the WonderCon 2021 exclusives. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Peace in, peace out.